This is the OTP from Flowery Branch, Georgia, as the Tennessee Titans road trip continues. That's the head coach of the Titans radio broadcast, Dave McGinnis. I'm Taylor Zarzour. You don't see Jack and Max, but they are here. They've positioned us in a good spot, and I don't hear a fire alarm going off.
Well, I heard one yesterday, so we're 2 for 2 for fire alarms. But this is a beautiful setting right here. I mean, when I saw where we were going to do it, this is just like anything else. When you travel with the Titans, you travel first class. This is really nice.
You know, Coach, in basketball, hockey, and baseball, those teams that play those sports and professional sports, they go on long road trips together. You don't ever see this in the National Football League where you go on a 10-day, 9-night road trip, which is what the Tennessee Titans are doing in the preseason to prepare for the regular season. Played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa. We're down there for 3 days. In the middle of the night after the Tampa game, flew to Georgia, and they're here all week before they play the Atlanta Falcons. What do you think the significance of all this is?
Well, I mean, it's important. This is a young football team, and we saw the importance of practicing, first of all, against the Bucs in one. We'll get 2 practices here, but this is important. Look, this is a rebuilding football team, and you've got to have time on task. And time on task in football, sooner or later, you've got to do it. And here's the other thing, too. Taylor, you got to put these players in positions where they're not comfortable, because the game of football is not comfortable until you've been through it. So I like what we're doing.
Yeah, and Coach, it used to be, I mean, you've been in the game, the National Football League, for 39 years. It used to be you would leave and go to a training camp facility, and you would go stay in dorms as a team together, and there's a lot of team building that goes on for weeks. That just doesn't happen as much anymore. The National Football League and its teams aren't doing much of that anymore. And because of that, you kind of have to create something, which is what the Titans have done. And with that, a lot of team building happens over the course of these 10 days.
Well, and especially nowadays when you only have 3 preseason games.
Yeah.
This is critical. And we talked about it earlier on previous OTPs. Teams across the league are going to start doing this. You got 5 teams right now that are going away to camp.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
5 teams. It used to be everybody, and you would go away for 5 and 6 weeks at a time. I can't count the number of dormitories I've slept in my career in the National Football League. This is not a dormitory.
No, it's not.
Now.
No, it's not.
No, it's a different world. But being gone and being out of your element is something that you have to learn to adapt to. And so I like what we're doing. And major props to the ops crew, to the support staff, because this takes a lot of work to make something like this happen.
All right, the last time we were on the OTP, you talked about how you thought the best thing the Titans have done in the offseason was the practice they had with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week. For those that missed it, just explain why you thought that was so necessary for this Titans team to do.
Well, it was a hostile environment, and then, I mean, you have to test yourself against other people, because you get comfortable practicing in your place of business. You get comfortable going against the same people all the time. It's critical. It's going to be critical for these 2 days that we're down here, because the ball games take on a different tone and a temper, especially in the preseason, Taylor, because you're trying to get a limited number of reps to 91 players. And that's hard to do. When you're practicing against somebody, the coaches control it. The coaches on both sides control it. So it's night and day as to the number of reps that you can get, and also the points of emphasis that you can go to.
We're going to talk to Dennard Wilson, the defensive coordinator of the Titans, on this edition of the OTP coming up in a little while. We also have all the specialists that are going to join us that are better at golf than I am. Morgan Cox, Johnny Hekker, and Joey Slye are all going to join us on the OTP as well. Coach, let me get your thoughts on how you felt the preseason game went against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, it was a preseason game. I mean, and early on when you had both teams with some of their starters out there, not all.
Yeah.
You know, Todd Bowles declared early that he wasn't going to play many, if any, of his starters. There were a lot of guys missing. But Tampa Bay's an established football team. They are an established team. This is a rebuilding team, the Titans are. But I like the fact, I like what happened with the offense, because the offense went 3 and out on the first one. I mean, I can get into the weeds football-wise why that first series was 3 and out, but basically it was a 3-man, 9-ball stack that got jammed up on third down, and the ball was held too long, and they'll get that corrected. I love the bounce back that the quarterback made when he came back in the second series that he had. I mean, you could tell if he's going to have time to throw and people can have time to develop routes, this is going to be good.
Okay, well, a lot of people that watched it were really impressed by what you just said. They were really impressed by Cam Ward on that second series that he was in there, and the biggest positive they took from the game was that Cam Ward really looked the part and made some good corrections on that second drive. Was that your biggest positive too?
Yeah, well, he's got poise. I mean, we've watched him. I mean, I've watched him ever since the draft, and I've been at every practice, and the guy has got poise. You can't fake poise. I mean, he's got it. He's got it, and he's able to bounce back from something that doesn't go well. And you could see kind of the rest of the team coalescing around that. Now, he didn't have all his starters on the offensive line, but the offensive line, when they gave him a chance in the cylinder, and then the receivers were running really good routes, I mean, he's got a connection, with Ridley. I mean, there's a connection there. But just the poise that he had, standing in the cylinder, being able to discern the routes, and then, I mean, He got fooled on one coverage where he just about threw a pick into a cover 2 that they made look like it was a 3 deep, and then they bogeyed and rolled to a cover 2. He got fooled on that one, but he learned from it. And so there's going to be a lot of learning instances for him in all of this, but the poise is what I really like.
Yeah, Cam finding Calvin Ridley 3 times on that drive for 50 yards. He had a 27-yard completion, and on that completion he had all the time in the world. And you kept saying on the broadcast, this is because he has time to look down the field and survey what he has. So let's talk a little bit about that. This offseason, the Tennessee Titans went and got Dan Moore from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's now their left tackle, and he's one of the better left tackles in the National Football League, and he's young too, still in his mid-20s. And they moved J.C. Latham, who his senior year, or his last year at Alabama, I guess his junior year, he was the most coveted right tackle coming out of college. That's the position he played at Alabama. When he came to the Titans after being a first-round draft pick, he was the left tackle last year. They moved him back to right tackle. And it sure looks like, at least from this untrained eye through the last couple of months, that has worked really well for the Titans, putting Moore at left tackle and Latham at right tackle. How would you evaluate it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a work in progress. But look, Moore has been in the league, and he has been very available, and that's important for offensive linemen. They've got to be able to play. They got to be available and be able to play. He's done that. To me, J.C. Latham is going to be a premier right tackle in this league. And the other thing that he did, he got jumped way ahead of the game as far as improving his body from his first year to his second year. He gets it. He understands it. And they didn't have their entire offensive line intact for the ball game. As you know, they're missing 2.
Yep.
Well, they're missing 2 starters. One with Lloyd Cushenberry, who's still not cleared to play yet, and then Zeitler at the right guard didn't play.
Right.
But still, the group I thought was very cohesive, being able to, and again, going against who they were going against, was fine. You can only play and practice against who the opponent puts out there. But that was encouraging to me to watch that whole operation work.
Hey, Titans fans, with a Kroger Boost membership, you'll score big with double fuel points, free delivery, and lots more. Go to Kroger.com/boost for details. Kroger, the official grocer of the Tennessee Titans. Tighten up. Home is the forefront of all we do. It's why we're so committed to caring for the places and spaces in which we work and live. Ashley, the official furniture provider of the Tennessee Titans. Now, back to the OTP.
You're always going to have players that get banged up in the preseason. That's just a part of it. And Coach Callahan has talked about hopefully getting Tajay Spears back in the next couple weeks. He was banged up in the game. I really thought Julius Chestnut and Kalel Mullings, that both came in and played a lot during the game, looked good. And you have talked a lot about them in the last few weeks, and you've been impressed by them.
Well, they're going to have to play. because, especially now with Tajay, is going to miss some time. He's going to miss some time. And anytime you put him out there between the white lines, I mean, I've learned this in my 39 years in the league. You got a chance for him to experience an injury. That's just the way it is. But it gives an opportunity for those two guys to step up. They're going to get plenty of play, believe me. And both of those guys, they don't have the same skill set that Tajay does, but they can add something to this offense. But what they need to do, and both of them are physical downhill runners, and that's what they need. And they need to be contributors on special teams. So they're going to be a part of the group that's going to have to play. They're going to get to play a lot, especially with Tajay being out.
Cam Ward did play 2 series. Then Brandon Allen came in the game, the backup quarterback for the Titans, and moved the team down the field. The first drive of the second half moved all the way inside the 10-yard line. Unfortunately, a turnover on downs. But on that drive, Julius Chestnut had 3 great plays on that drive, a couple of 8-yard plays, a run and a catch, and also another 7-yard run. And then Gunnar Helm, the tight end for the Titans. You've talked a lot about him, Coach, the rookie out of the University of Texas.
Yeah, I think Gunnar Helm, I mean, when you vetted him, and I know that they did the same thing, vet him coming out of the University of Texas, he was the leading receiver on a team, a Texas team, that had some dudes that could run at receiver. This guy's got a feel. He's got a feel. He understands open spaces in zone. He's able to play off of leverage in man-to-man. And plus, Gunnar Helm's a better blocker than people give him credit for. I mean, the uninitiated, when you look at it, I really like what he's done. And this entire rookie class, they're mature players. And when I say mature players, they've still got a lot to learn. They're rookies. But the mindset that they have, they're all ball. They're all ball. Gunnar Helm's been a guy that's impressed me. He impressed me at Texas, and then he really impressed me when he showed up here after the draft. I think he's got a chance to contribute this year quite a bit.
Okay, so there you go. There's Coach Mac's breakdown of what happened on the offense this past Saturday night. Before I get your thoughts on the defense, let's get the defensive coordinator's thoughts on the defense. Here's Dennard Wilson. And there he is, Dennard Wilson, the defensive coordinator for your Tennessee Titans. Out goes Coach Mac. In comes Dennard Wilson into his chair. How are we feeling into year number 2?
I'm feeling great. Very confident going into this year. The players have been really receptive, of the messaging and everything that we're doing. So I'm excited for the season to start.
All right, let's go to last week. Let's start with Saturday night, the preseason game.
Yeah.
Overall, how did you feel about the performance of the defense?
Well, I think we started out a little slow. We gave up 2 explosive passes. One play versus Hook, he could have made the play on the ball. But, ultimately we made the guys kick field goal. We played some sound ball after that, and then in the fourth quarter it kind of got away from us when the young guys got in. So a lot of teachable moments. Their first time getting experience playing on the National Football League, so there'll be some growth from that. But overall, it was an average performance.
Feels like there's a lot of balancing of keeping your first team healthy, making sure you have those guys, with watching a lot of guys battle to make the team in the preseason.
Well, that's the interesting part. Some guys that we have, we know what they could do. They've produced in this league for a while, but it's time to watch the young guys develop. See what they can do, see if they progress and grow, and, just for them to have the opportunity to go out there and show what they're made of.
You've been around this league for a long time. You ever been on a 10-day, 9-night road trip before?
I think one time, and it was maybe about 6 years ago.
Okay.
Kind of did that, but this is, it's fun time for us. Everybody's around each other, every different department. You get to talk, mingle with people. You start to connect, get to know a lot of people that's around you. You talk to people that you really don't talk to on a daily basis. And, I think everybody's having a good time. We're getting better from it. We're getting closer from it. And hopefully it just pays off at the end.
Any big difference for you, Coach, in teaching your players about last week compared to this week?
Yeah. Last week going into practice, you really allow them to go into it blind. You just call out stuff. See how they respond to it as a defense and versus the offense. It's really not a lot of game planning in the games. You have your set calls, and you just want to see the guys execute and play fast. So it's not a lot of game planning like it is in the season. And that's the big difference. You're calling it off situation and feel of the game. So, when we get into the regular season, it'll be dialed in and on what we need to do in certain situations to execute.
How different are the philosophies of the Tampa Bay Buccaneer offense and the Atlanta Falcons offense?
Oh, it's very similar, honestly. Different personnel, different style quarterback. Penix can run. They have a hell of a tight end. So, it's the same. They're from the West Coast. Both coordinators are from the West Coast tree. And so you get similar concepts, similar run games, similar pass concepts. So it's, for our guys, is dial in, try to execute as best as they can against this new offense.
How much are you teaching? How much are your coaches teaching in this year compared to last year?
I think our position coaches do a hell of a job of just teaching not only scheme, but these young men becoming men. I think they do a good job of motivating and inspiring these young men. And it's not always about the football player. It's about the growth of the human being. And a lot of times when you see the growth of the human being, the football stuff starts to take care of itself. But I think they're excellent teachers, great fundamental coaches, a lot of coaches with a wealth of knowledge, have been in the league for 10, 12, 13 years plus. I think our position coaches are some of the best in the National Football League.
I've always wondered this. You're doing a lot of instructing and trying to get the players ready and constantly working on their craft every day to get ready for the game. How about you? How do you train to call the game? Is there a lot that goes into that in the offseason and preparing your mind to get ready to call it properly?
Yeah, of course. We have scripted periods, but the best thing for a play caller is the unscripted periods. So now, Callie, he'll call offensive plays by personnel, and I have to, call out defenses, depending on the situation, area of the field. So that's the best practice you can get. And then obviously, like in the preseason games, you're working on it, even though you don't have, like I would say, all of our good stuff's up, because you're not trying to show what you're doing and what you implemented over the off season. So, that's when you get time on task, is when you're competing on the unscripted periods.
You spent a lot of time as a position coach in the National Football League, in charge of the defensive backs, and now you're a defensive coordinator. I'm sure there's a lot of people throughout the league that you're close to, that you could go to and ask advice from. If there are the biggest influences on you, who would they be?
Probably still in the league is Todd Bowles. That's why it was great to go back to Tampa. He's one of my mentors, love him to death on and off the field. And he's a guy that whenever I need some advice or I just need to talk, he's a guy that I call. And it was just great to compete against him last week. He sat over there watching like a proud big brother, seeing me on the other sideline. So that's great.
He got to go up against Cam Ward last week a couple of times. You've been doing that for the last few months. What do you think of the Titans' first-round draft pick?
Man, I love him. I love the football player and the guy. He's super competitive. He can move people, which a lot of people don't see it. The players follow him. He has this infectious personality that people love to be around him. His arm talent is unbelievable. He's pinpoint accurate. He can make every throw from every launch point. And, the more and more he gets comfortable, I think the sky's the limit for him.
Are you going to him and saying, hey, watch, we might do this to you, or you might see this in the league? Or will that happen at some point?
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah.
If he wants to come just talk defensive football or philosophy with me, the door's always open. But, in terms of practice, we haven't slowed down our install progression, and we kind of throw everything at him. And he's responded extremely well.
I know how much you love Jeffrey Simmons, Tavondre Sweat, the middle of that defensive line for you. Give me some shout-outs to some other guys that are new faces, whether that have come in via free agency or that's a rookie.
Oh, having Draymond Jones, on the edge. He's a big, powerful man. He's all business. He works hard. He's a good leader of men. Jarvis Brownlee has taken a tremendous step from last year to this year. His technique fundamentals has improved drastically. He already had the will to win and compete. So I love where he's at. Amani Hooker has taken another step. I think that he's more comfortable in the system. Femi has been a great addition with his energy and his toughness. It's a lot of guys that is on the defense that's going to help us out And we're going to try to just put the best 11 out there every time we can.
You're building a football team. Everybody with the Tennessee Titans right now, they're building a stadium and they're building a football team. What is the energy like in the building, Coach?
Oh, the energy is unbelievable. Like I say, we are a connected unit, a connected team, offense and defense. Guys like being around each other, just like on this trip. I mean, you see defensive guys interact with the offensive guys all day, when we're outside of the practice facilities at these other organizations. So it's just fun. The energy is very high. We're excited to kick it off, but we still have to take the steps to prepare to get there. And I think we've been doing it, working hard at it, and I think it's going to benefit this year.
Okay, before we let you go, a few fun questions for you. You have a favorite spot in Nashville that you found so far? How's your family connecting to the city?
My family loves the city. I enjoy Nashville. I will go to the 1230.
Okay.
That's my spot. When people come in town, I always take them there. But I love Nashville. You can find great food everywhere. It's always something to do, and it's just a lot of people that's coming in to the city. You
find any Maryland Terrapins in Nashville anywhere?
Yeah, it's a few.
It's a few. I called your Music City Bowl win 2 years ago on TV, and the team looked good. I know you're still a proud Terrapin.
Yeah.
I know it's been a long time. I still can't get used to you guys being in the Big Ten, though.
Yeah, I was an ACC guy, so I'm not used to it. It is different, but I'm a huge Maryland fan. I think Mike Loxley is a hell of a football coach. He does a great job of developing young men, and I can't wait to see them play this year. I think they're going to surprise some people. They got some good young talent, and hopefully we win a Big Ten.
He's a great man. He's one of my favorite people to talk to. Okay, last thing for you before I let you go. I always see you in the building, and I do wonder if you have any free time to yourself to do anything else. Do you have a hobby? Do you have something you do to completely get away from football? And if so, what is it?
I like to travel in the off season. I will say I like to golf, but I'm terrible at it. I can go out there as long as I don't lose a lot of balls, I'm okay. But and then I just like being around my family. I like going back home to Maryland, seeing my brother and sister and my dad and all my cousins and things of that nature. It's just being around people that I love is what I like to do.
That's awesome. Yeah. Coach, you are connecting to those young men out there. It's really fun to watch you. Thanks for doing this with us.
Thank you.
This summer, SeatGeek has your ticket to the best live concerts in Nashville at Nissan Stadium. SeatGeek has the best seat, your seat, for an unforgettable summer. From rock royalty to rap superstars, R&B to country, find it all on SeatGeek, the official ticketing partner of Nissan Stadium. Little Caesars is the official pizza partner of your Tennessee Titans. Download the Little Caesars app and get your favorites delivered today. Delivery fees apply. Now, back to the OTP.
Now, Coach, we just listened to Dennard and what he had to say about the defense's performance and overall just where he is defensively going into this week's practices against the Falcons in the game on Friday night. Let's go back to the Buccaneers game. What did you think defensively?
Well, I thought the first unit was fine. And look, I've graded 1,000 run plays in my career as a coach. Grading the run defense is the easiest thing in the world you can do. It's a zero-sum thing. You either get a plus or a minus. And what it has to be, everybody has to work in conjunction with one another, but you got to get displacement from your defensive front. They've got to displace the offensive line back towards where they came from. The other thing that has to happen is your second and your third level have to have correct run fits, and they have to fit on time. They were running a play called the single back power O when it got later in the game. Let's talk about later in the ball game. You got misfits up front, which is easy to grade. You've got misfits from the second level, which easy to grade, and you got contain issues from the back end, which is easy to grade. And so, look, it's either you do it or you don't on defense with the run. I've been involved with some number one run defenses in the National Football League. But the grading system for the run game, there's no nuance to it. You either get it done or you don't. And they weren't fitting it up right in the fourth quarter. They just weren't.
Now, they didn't have Jeffrey Simmons. They didn't have T'Vondre Sweat.
See, having those guys will make a difference. I'm talking about the guys that are trying to earn a job.
Sure.
Trying to earn a job. And so that's up to them. And it comes down to being able to, as a defensive lineman, I know what they're being taught. But you got to be able to shock and shed. You got to get off. And then when they start pulling people, which everybody's going to do, you've got to replace correctly. But as I said, that's a zero-sum event. It's very easy to grade.
And you have to have depth. I mean, that's your point.
Well, yeah, that's the key. And everybody needs to keep in mind, this is a rebuilding football team. And so that's what you're trying to develop, not only trying to develop front line, but the good teams in this league, you're able to develop depth. And the only way you develop depth, I mean, it's a talent acquisition event.
If you were to single out a player or two defensively for a good performance on Saturday night, who would you mention?
Cedric Gray and James Williams.
Yep.
I really liked the way those young linebackers were fitting up. Plus, they were going downhill. The thing that I always look at with young players, are they pulling the trigger? Or do they have a quick K&D? Are they not, what you want to stay away from is guys at the second level we call camera shutter guys, where the old camera opens and closes real slow. Those guys will go get it. I really like the way those two young players at linebacker came on.
I want to give a shout-out, too, to Isaiah Rakes and to Timmy Horn on the defensive line.
Good idea.
Yeah, and they both had a good performance. We called their names out quite a bit on Saturday night. If in all your time in the National Football League, Coach, we talked to Coach Wilson about this, but where would you like to see improvement from preseason game 1 to preseason game 2?
Well, those young guys that are trying to make a team. There's a lot of inexperience on that defensive front, behind the three guys that we talk about: Sebastian Joseph Day, Big Sweat, and then Jeffrey Simmons. There's a lot of inexperience behind that. I also thought, just on the edge, talk about young guys, I was impressed with Femi. I thought Femi Oladejo showed up. He's got speed. He's got range. I like what he did. But those young guys that are going to try to make this football team at the back on the defensive front and at linebacker got to do better.
All right, there you go. There's what Coach has to say about the offense and the defense. Would you like to give a breakdown of special teams about kicking and punting? Now, we are going to hear from Joey Slye, Johnny Hekker, and Morgan Cox here, and you have said repeatedly that you don't know anything about kickers.
I don't know anything about them. Here, look, I've been with some great kickers in my career. I know nothing about it. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm an expert on kickers. None. All I know is any kicker that I had, first of all, I always hired the best special teams coach I could.
Yeah.
And then my coaching point for field goal kickers is put it between those two yellow things.
You like that?
I want that. That's what I want. And then also the punter, I want somebody that has got all the clubs in the bag, talking about your golf game, that can directional punt that thing and can cut the field in quarters so you can get good coverage. And plus, look, Morgan Cox, if we could do a 30-minute dissertation on how he gets the laces back there perfectly for where they want to kick it. But Coach Mac is not going to be an expert because I know nothing about kickers.
Well, you just made a golf comparison. Let's go to the golf course with the specialists. All right, as promised, here they are, the specialists. I had to come to the golf course to find them. Shocker. Joey Slye, Morgan Cox, Johnny Hekker, also known as the kicker, the long snapper, and the new punter. For your Tennessee Titans.
Slash holder.
That's true. I'm sorry. I don't want to. That's a big. Yes. Don't want to. I don't want to short you.
Very, very important role.
Also known as the enemy, Morgan and me versus Hekker and Slye.
That's right.
By the way, Morgan, since you've been here, you're the experienced vet on this team, and you're welcoming in your fellow specialist. You've said very quickly that the three of you have built a great connection.
We have. I mean, all three of us have been in the league a while, so we have a lot of experience, but. When we got together, I mean, it was very easy to tell early on that we were going to be close-knit guys, and the golf course helps, throwing us out there and competing and stuff is a lot of fun, a lot of back and forth. It's great.
Joey's the young buck of the group, but also a veteran in the league. You kicked a couple of 60-plus yarders last year. Joey, why the Tennessee Titans?
I think the opportunity came up in free agency. Obviously, Bones being here was a huge plus. He's a great special teams coordinator. There's a lot of respect around the league for him. So when the opportunity presented itself, and then you got Morgan here, 16 years of veteran experience, and then Johnny was included in that package as well. I feel like you ask a lot of the kickers around the league where they'd want to be, and I know they're probably happy where they're at, but a lot of them would also want to be in Nashville as well.
Johnny, you've had a terrific career, winning a world championship with the Rams, did well with the Carolina Panthers. Tell me about coming to Nashville and how this opportunity happened.
Yeah, much like Joey, I mean, you look from the outside at the pieces assembled in the special teams room, and it's just a no-brainer. Great spot to be. Awesome fan base supporting the team, a young, hungry organization to kind of flip the tides and really built on some success, moving into a new stadium with a number 1 overall quarterback. And I just want to be a great part of that, be a key contributor to the team's success and do what we can to just impact the game on our third of it.
Let me ask you more about what you just said, because you just said it's a young, hungry, energetic team that's moving into a new stadium in 2 years. You've seen all of that happen in the National Football League. Move into a new stadium like you did in Los Angeles. A young, energetic team that ultimately ended up winning the Super Bowl as you did with the LA Rams. Yeah. Talk about the process of building that and how much energy is in the building right now with the Titans.
It's great. I mean, it's you can't miss it. Everyone is just hungry. There's a lot of guys that are just eager to improve. Young guys that are developing, coaches that are doing a lot to invest in the young guys, bring them up in leadership positions. They've done a great job in the front office of bringing in some veteran guys from around the league to contribute and just do our best to empower the young guys as well to take over this team and make it theirs. And having a first overall pick that walks into the locker room and has that instant command sure helps. So love to see that with Cam.
Morgan, since we're on a golf course, I ask a lot of golfers this question all the time. Is it harder to win the first time, or is it harder to win again and again? So let me ask you this. As somebody that was winning a lot with the Baltimore Ravens and then winning with the Tennessee Titans, is it harder to get there, or is it harder to get back there again?
I think both have its battles, because once you get there, everybody's coming for you. And so but there's also that uphill battle of finding the right culture, finding the right team. And I think young and hungry, like we've talked about, is the right recipe, because guys come in and they're like, we know how to work. We know how to get there. We just need to come together as a team. And so it's going to be an exciting year, like we've talked about, just young, hungry, and wanting to prove ourselves.
I think the loudest moment of the 2025 Titans so far, actually I'm certain of it, was when this guy kicked a 66-yard field goal on the back-together weekend in Nissan Stadium a few weeks ago, which would have been good from 75. I mean, I just saw somebody make a 70-yarder in a preseason game. How's the leg feeling right now?
Leg feels great. Obviously, shout out to Cam. He had a huge ball the other day and has definitely put himself at the top of the pedestal. And then I know there's a lot of hungry kickers that are waiting to get an opportunity to hit from 70 as well. So we might be able to see some more bullets flying throughout the last couple of weeks of this preseason, see who can hit from 70, 75, just keep on going back till see who ends up being the champion of this one.
Now, Brian Callahan, the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, says that it can influence the way his mind works once the Titans get into positive territory. Are you getting in Callie's ear? Are you getting closer to him as they get near the 45-yard line? What's your kind of persuasion tactic when the Titans are getting into the scoring area?
Yeah, I think it's kind of death by a thousand swords. I kind of walk around him as he's going through. I can hear him talking to the offensive guys, but I just kind of just chirping behind him like, oh, hey, Coach, we're good here. Yep, hey, Coach, we're good. And Morgan was doing the high order math the other day, and I went behind him and said, hey, Coach, we're good from here. And Morgan kept him. He was like, Joey, I think it's like an 80-yard field goal. And I was like, yeah, I think my math was a little bit off on that one. But, yeah, I mean, I just try to instill some confidence on his side, knowing that, when he's making those decisions, we can figure out, hey, do we need to get 5 yards? Do we need to get 15, 20, whatever it ends up being. But if I'm able to just keep saying, like, hey, we're good to go, make sure that I'm communicating with Bones as well, he's going to also instill that confidence in Callie going forward. So just letting him know constantly throughout the game that we're good to go whenever they call upon me.
You've mentioned the special teams coordinator a couple of times. His nickname is Bones. Coach Fossil comes over from the Dallas Cowboys and is regarded as one of the best special teams coaches in the game. Why, Morgan?
Honestly, like, having been with him just so far this season, I can tell he brings an energy to the room, really, that makes guys really want to play hard, do their job, certainly, but give that extra little bit to, like, because they feel like they're part of something special. And love Bones' schemes. I've seen him from afar, being an AFC. He's been in the NFC for a long time, but just that fear that he instills in other teams, because teams do play so hard. His crew always play so hard, no matter what team he's with, and I see why, because he brings that energy to the room.
Okay, I got to ask you something about Morgan. So I just recently saw that somebody put out all these off-season predictions, and they put together like the greatest teams, and Morgan was on an all-century team of the 21st century as the best long snapper. Mm-hmm. You're always catching his football, whether you're holding it, which you get full credit for, by the way.
I love that.
Or if you're punting. What makes him such a great long snapper?
He's consistent, and it's not just what he does with the football, it's who he is around the locker room. He's an encouraging guy. He's always helping guys be at their best, and I think when you have a guy like that at a key position who's, he starts to play on a lot of crucial downs and is a key contributor in some big moments in football games. So when you have someone that's dependable, that has a track record of doing it for a long time, he's overcome a lot of adversity in his career as well. He's worked through a lot of things and has earned every single bit of recognition that he's gotten. And I know he's probably the first guy to say he doesn't really want it. He doesn't really care about that attention, but it's very earned. And Morgan's a stand-up guy that we all love coming to work with every single day.
Can we work on the celebration when Heck pulls off a great fake punt this year? Can we work on what that celebration is going to be? Have we thought about that yet?
We've thrown around a few things, but
I don't know. We'll see.
We're keeping that close to you're not going to reveal anything yet?
Yeah, sometimes you just got to let the spirit lead you in the moment. Just, have a...
You got any ideas, Joey?
No, just let the energy flow. I think Johnny's got a good ability to just come up with something on the spot, so I'm more excited to see that after the fake than actually running the fake. Absolutely. For sure.
Who is most obsessed with golf? Me included, of the four of us. I think it might be Joey. Who do you think it is?
I'm going with Joey.
You're going with Joey?
Joey's got the bug pretty hard right now.
I got lucky this offseason not having the wife at the house to make sure I was going straight back home for that. There was a couple times where I offered up, hey, guys, I'm going to go play some golf. You guys are good for it. And not to throw the wives under the bus, but they had to go home to some priorities. Yeah. So obviously my wife's not with me when I was in Nashville for spring, but definitely wanted her there. But I will say my golf game did get a little bit better. So
good recovery there. He threw out many opportunities for us to go out. But like you said, we got to have some family time. But Joey loves to break down movement and exactly how you're supposed to swing a golf club and strategy. And he's definitely got the bug for sure.
Yeah,
still sucks.
I want to make this clear. This is a football trip with a little bit of golf included. It's not a golf trip with a little bit of football. Just wanted to make that clear. Before we finish up, my partner Rhett Bryan, who works with Coach Mac and me on the Titans radio broadcast, said something I really like. He said, we're building a championship level stadium next door, and we're putting a championship level football on that field, and we're building that right now. You like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the energy in the building across all departments and everything is really exciting to see what we're going to have to open the new stadium for sure.
A team that gets better and better as the season goes along?
Yeah, I think, this offseason was all about just building our process, making sure that whenever adversity hits or whatever comes throughout the season, we know what our process is going to be like. And I love the process that we have right now on a special teams unit, and the approach we have is going to lend itself to impacting the games in a positive way, bringing some more wins.
Yeah, I feel like the opportunity here, people want to win here. They don't want to win somewhere else. They really feel like they want to get it done here. And I think the coaching staff and the front office has done a really good job of bringing those people here to say, hey, let's go ahead, grow some roots, let's win some championships here, and build a organization that we'd be proud of.
Do you want me to tell everybody about my game-winning Joey Slye call? Do you want me to reveal that now?
You can either reveal it now or you can save it for when it happens.
No, I can just tell everybody right now. Slye lets it fly, bullseye. We okay? We okay with that?
Love it.
Perfect.
I think Lil Wayne wrote that probably in one of his songs.
Did he really? I'm stealing that from somebody? Guys, it's been so much fun to get to know all of you.
Thank you.
It's great to see the chemistry that the three of you have, and it's going to be a great season with you guys and the Tennessee Titans. Appreciate you. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Tighten up.
All right, there you go. Your guy, Johnny Hekker, by the way, hits it a mile off the tee. The great punter for the Tennessee Titans. Fun to catch up with all of them. Coach, two things before we go. One, tell me the biggest goal when you go from preseason game 1 to preseason game 2. All week practicing against the Falcons and then playing them. You are in charge of the Titans. What is most necessary to do this week?
You want to flow. You want to continue the flow that you had in that second possession on offense. That's what you want. You want that flow. And then defensively, I've said this before. I know Dennard says it. I've coached with all of these coaches for a long time on very successful teams. These defensive coaches, they want to stop the run. And you got to get better at that. That's important now. They weren't game planning anything, but as I said, the run defense, there's 8 gaps, and it's really easy to figure out who's supposed to be where.
Getting to be the voice of the Tennessee Titans is one of the great thrills of my life. I have to say, incredibly fulfilling to be the voice of this team and to get to work with you. Last Saturday night was truly a dream come true to be on the call with you. We have a lot more to do, my friend. I can't wait for game number 2.
Yes, sir. Here we go.
That's Dave McGinnis, the head coach of the Titans radio broadcast. I'm Taylor Zarzour, filling in for the president of everything, Amy Wells, here on the OTP.